A moon calendar. Does no one mind that it has expired? It's last year's.
Good morning, officer. My name is Professor Samuel Hunt, a researcher from the British Museum. I would need some information.
Well, a foreigner. Good morning, Professor. What is a professor doing here? Do you have somewhere to stay? You can just walk around here in the street. I know a hotel
I came to visit an old acquaintance. I'm staying with my friend. I am housed comfortably, thank you.
Old acquaintance? But I bet I haven't seen you here about.
That is correct. I know this person from England.
This must be Salvador, the painter. But he's dead. Are you joking with me?
His daughter was so kind as to host me. But do not worry, I only intend to stay for a few days.
I see. But still, if you needed it, I know a good hotel. My nephew is the...
Thank you, officer. No. But would you answer a few questions of mine?
Of course. That is, it depends on what you're interested in.
I am looking for a certain young man by the name of Francisco Candelas.
Francisco? You see, it's not the best time. He's sitting over there. It wasn't easy to catch him because he resisted strongly. But I grabbed him hard by his shirt and brought the villain in here to steal from that good Mr. Alonso. He stole an ornamental sword worth a fortune, did you know?
Yes, I've heard about it. And I've also heard that the sword is still missing and that the boy is innocent.
Uh-huh. Word travels fast, huh? Well, that sword really hasn't been found. Not yet. But I'll get it. I'll find it, since I'm concentrating all my efforts on it, as you can see. But the idea that the Francisco kid is innocent, it would be difficult to prove. It was his grandfather's sword. He wanted to get it back. Blatantly obvious. He worked at Mr. Alonso's house every single day. He planned it out, and then he stole it. That's all. Mr. Alonso testified against him, and he's a clever man, a greatly respected man, whose influence reaches everywhere. This blacksmith's assistant is in deep trouble.
And have you any other proof, Mr. Reoyos?
Officer Reoyos. Proof? There is proof. But I mustn't discuss this with a stranger. A police officer must be able to keep things confidential. I can say, however, that Mr. Alonso's testimony will be the most decisive proof before all courts.
Yes, this must be so. Why do you think that the sword has not been found? Have you any idea where it could be?
Where it could be? How should I know? But we will find it. That boy must know where it is, and if he won't tell me, my colleagues in Madrid will get him to talk. Don't you worry about it.
Sergeant, would you allow me to have a few words with that straying lad?
No way, Professor. You have no permission.
But who could give such permission?
Me, of course.
Well, really? Then I'd like to have your permission to talk to the young Candelas.
I can't. I would need an order from a higher authority.
You're not saying that only your colleagues in Madrid can issue this order too? Is that all the influence you have over anything on your own? Aren't you the head of the police station here?
Of course, I am. And of course I'm able to make my own decisions. But I can't. Not because of those in Madrid. They shouldn't always be interfering with our business.
Well, then who could give such an order?
Ask Mr. Alonso. If I get an order signed by Mr. Alonso, I don't mind. You can go in and talk to the suspect.
Where does this Mr. Alonso live?
The Garcia de la Rica Palace is on the main square. You can't miss it. But if you only intend to stay a few days, Professor, then you are unlikely to have any success. As far as I know, today Mr. Alonso has gone with his son to his relatives for a week. And even the housekeeper was released on holiday. Only that cold-blooded butler stays in the house on such occasions.
Maybe it is still worth a try. Would you allow me to ask some more questions?
Of course, but don't expect gossip from me. A policeman never spreads gossip. I knew Carlos Candelas. He used to be a swordsmith like his grandfather, and great-grandfather, and great-great-grandfather. And his son, too. Decent family. This is a big shame for old Carlos. Widow of Candelas. Yes, I must have seen her, because I know everyone in the neighborhood, but especially those with whom I've had trouble. I don't know Isabel Candelas very well. Hey, what a pretty big lass came of that little girl with the braided hair. How could I not know her? On a cloudy day, it would be enough for her to walk down the square, and glimmering brightness would fill even the darkest dungeon. Once she happened to say, "I'm a handsome, decent man." True, it could have been 5 years ago by now. I had no trouble with that painter, but I must tell you frankly, I was always suspicious of him. And I have a nose that never fails. That man was hiding some secret. But now we will never know what it was. Of course, there's no mistake about it. Someone who lives for a long time abroad and then returns suddenly with a child and without a mother. It is unavoidable the talk about him. Oh, Mr. Alonso is a highly respected, noble man. He's very influential, an eminent politician. He traveled around the country for a long time. He knows everyone. He leads a quiet and calm life, has a luxurious home, but he hasn't been leading much of a household since the death of his wife. As far as I know, his son is preparing to be a politician or a lawyer.
Thank you for your help, Sergeant Reoyos. I am really grateful to you.
No problem, Professor. Just come anytime you want to know something. I know about everything. And if you need accommodation, my uncle's hotel is in the name...
Thank you again, Mr. Reoyos.
See you, Professor.
I won't have an easy time with this good policeman.